welcome back to another episode of Journey to Christmasland. I am your host, Kira Davis, and I'm here with my lovely co-host and resident Christmasland expert, Amelia Hamilton.
Hi.
She's on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, but when we're on the way to Christmasland, we are always together. We are always in the same space. Amelia, how are you doing today?
Okay, I'm doing pretty well, but it's Red Wings game day. I see that you dressed for it too.
Not on purpose, but sure.
Okay. It is crunch time. We are basically not making the playoffs, but I'm trying. So I wore my shirt and I don't know, man. It's rough.
What are you trying for?
We're just trying to make the playoffs.
Okay. You know what, Amelia, I believe you can do it. I believe you can do it if you find the right combination of sportswear, of fan wear. I believe you can do it.
I think so too. And that's actually the earrings that I was looking for when you got on the stream without me and we're like, hello. Yeah. I was like, my earrings, but.
Okay. Well, maybe they're for later. I just know, like, my husband's a Bears fan, and the whole fan wear and all of how everything is put together is very important to the whether or not the team wins or loses.
Right.
Extremely important.
Right.
Yeah. I've seen him get up in the middle of the game and change caps.
Okay, I don't do that.
Yeah, he's like really bad. So anyways, well, we wish Detroit, of course, the best.
Thank you.
And we are back to watching movies.
Yay.
We went through March Madness, had so much fun with March Madness. We're already looking forward to next year, making plans for next year. Last week, we reviewed A Christmas Castle Proposal, or A Royal in Paradise 2, or A Christmas Castle Proposal, A Royal in Paradise 2.
Or A Royal Christmas Castle Proposal Paradise.
It depends on where you live, and I guess how your government allows you to look at romance.
I think it might also be like if you watched it on Tubi or GAF, or like who proposed in it? Which ending did you get? And that's the title.
Yes, which ending did you get? Because as we found out, there was different endings, and you can see Amelia's reaction in real time in the bonus episodes. I'm going to post that this week. Actually, as we record this tomorrow, but in the go back to the bonus episodes, and there is one in there tucked away in there where Amelia and I actually watch one of the alternate endings. I'll make sure to identify it so you know which one it is. But I saw it before Amelia, and I surprised her with it because I wanted her raw reaction, and I got exactly what I expected. So
you know me well.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much the same reaction I had when I was watching it. I had to like stop and process. So we're still in Christmasland this week, but it's a change of season. Seasons are changing in normal land, and so we've gone to a different season, but same.
It's still Christmasland.
Same nation.
Yeah.
Set us up.
So, well, last week at the end of the episode, we said we were going to do Missing the Boat, starring the very respectable Christopher Palaha. What I didn't realize, I take full responsibility for the schedule shift. It's only on Hallmark Plus, and I'm not going to do that to ourselves or everybody else. We try to find movies that are more accessible that everybody can watch. So we found a regular Hallmark one, A Season to Blossom, which is a spring movie. I think it's a new one this year. It is starring Emily Tennant as Elise and Carlo Marx as Max. I really like Carlo Marx. He was in Chesapeake Shores, which is one of the Hallmark series. Okay. Actually did not like Chesapeake Shores at all, but I did like his character in it.
Oh, okay.
And I like the actor.
Oh, I think that's a good sign for him. That's like, sign of a good actor.
Yeah.
So you can get a fan out of a bad show.
Yeah. So the description is, an aspiring writer takes over her late grandmother's bookstore and finds love. I feel like we don't get enough bookstores. We get a lot of writers. That's one of the like approved jobs in Christmasland.
Yeah.
And she is a writer, don't worry. But I thought it would be fun to go to a bookstore in Christmasland. So here we go.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of bookstores. And, now that I think about it, it's actually a really great location for a romantic script.
Yeah, people come in with their own thing going on.
Right. So, but yeah, I think you're right. When you said we don't really have a lot of bookstore movies, we don't do a lot of bookstore movies. I was like, yeah, you know what? We don't really see this set piece in Christmasland very much, and I feel like we're leaving a lot on the table.
We are.
There's all kinds of opportunities for conflict. You've got the customers, you've got the writing angle, but then you can, bookstores can have a kitchen where you have a little,
Right, they regularly have a cafe.
A cafe, yeah. So it feels like we're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. So I was happy to see this one come across the schedule.
Yeah. This movie had so much exposition. This is one of the most exposition-y movies ever. And they
This is
start.
not one of just exposition-y, it's also wisdom-y.
Yes.
Every other,
Yes.
I was like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe that's what, yeah.
this episode is going to be murder for me to edit because how are we supposed to get the wisdom of Christmasland? Like every other line was
Right.
wisdom of
Well, we
Christmasland.
can't. People just have to watch the movie because this episode it would be like copyright, heck, hell, whatever. I guess I can say hell because I mean the actual place. It would just be, yeah, because it's the whole movie. So I'll mention that when we get there. But I mean, starting from like the first scene is our main dude, Max, and he is hanging out with his dad, and it's like immediately they're in like they run an apple orchard and they're making their hard cider. And the son is like, I want to expand the cider business. The dad is like, why fix what ain't broken? And he's like, but we need to get out of our comfort zone. I mean, immediately.
It's right away. It's a dad who just wants to do things the old way and a son who wants to bring the family business into the new era by flexing some of his creative muscles. Tale as old as time in Christmasland.
Yeah, the dad wants to just like do the orchard thing. Listen, we grow apples. If you want to make some cider on the side, that's fine. And he's like, we need another line of business. You know, get out of your comfort zone.
His son was right.
Yeah, but it
was right.
I know it was so funny though to be like, I mean, immediately into it.
Right away.
Yeah.
But like you said, this whole movie is just like, it's basically exposition, the entire movie.
The entire movie. So and then the dad, again, right into the exposition, says that he ran into his friend in town, and the town is called Driftless, by the way. And the Driftless bookstore is going on the market. It's the end of an era. So like 30 seconds into the movie, we've got everything.
Ding, ding, ding. Also, you know, I have to say this is one of the more interesting names of a town in Christmasland that we've come across. Mm-hmm. We love our kingdom names. Bovia is most recent, but this Driftless, I actually thought that was a cute name for a town.
Yeah. So now we get to our big city businesswoman, Elise, and we see on her phone a little reminder pops up that she's supposed to finish her book today. And guess what? She didn't. Her book, not done. And it is her last day as a temp. And everyone keeps talking to her, and all I could hear was TPS reports. It's something about inventory. She's good at the inventory, but it was like, your TPS reports are
What did he call it? He called it your proposal and acquisitions spreadsheet or something. I don't know. It was like your acquisition.
I thought it was inventories. I don't know, but it was.
Yeah. Oh, some vaguely named businessy things. Like, I hope you have your business acquisitions spreadsheet ready. Yes, of course. I have my business acquisition. Like, what are they doing? I don't know what they're acquiring, but she's good at it, whatever it is.
So because she's so good, it's her last day as a temp, but he wants her to stay on with a full-time job. And she's like, you know, it's my last day in Chicago and I just keep moving, because she's a drifter. She's not driftless. So she's like, I like to keep moving. I don't like to stay in one place. You know, her parents are currently on like their 8 millionth cruise. They just keep going. She just keeps going. And she doesn't want to stay in Chicago. But, you know, he makes her like, he kind of pitches her on it. You know, you need to stay. Come on. Don't you want this job? And she's like, you know what? I'll do it. He doesn't tell her anything about the pay, anything about anything, but she's in. She's going to change her whole lifestyle and all of her dreams to do it. She says she just needs 4 weeks to go back to Driftless because she has inherited her grandmother's bookstore. So now we know what that's all about. To wrap things up, and her boss, who is named Mr. Woodman, by the way, is like, oh my gosh, that's perfect because the job starts in 1 month. And I was like, well, why did you need a temp who's now going to be permanent if the job starts in a month?
Well, I filled in that backstory. What I imagined was that she was filling in for a lady who went on maternity leave. And then that lady realized she doesn't want to go back to work. She wants to stay home. So she's going to give herself another month just to she's got to qualify for the life insurance. So she's going to come back for 1 month and then leave.
Perfect. I'm so glad it's working out for everybody.
Yeah, it's working.
Baby lady. You know,
in my head, it's working out for everybody.
That always happens too. Women stay home for maternity leave. They think they want to go back to work. They get that baby in their arms and they're like, mm-mm.
It does happen all the time. So this is how I made it work because the script didn't give me anything. So in my mind, everybody's getting what they want.
Perfect. And that's what happens in Christmasland. So meanwhile, Elise is really irritated because everybody is reading this book by Tessa Marks. It's some kind of a love story, something, and we don't know why, but just keep that in your mind. She is irritated that everyone's reading this book.
She sees this book everywhere. She sees it in the bookstore window. She sees it on somebody's desk. Like every time she walks by it, she's like, she's just got an anxious look on her face. So
she's not happy about it.
No, she's not, for some reason.
Yeah. Also, while she's in town at Driftless, she tells her boss there's going to be an apple blossom festival. So we're going to be hearing about that.
And he says, like the pastry, which is not where I would go if someone said I'm going to the apple blossom festival. I would think they meant the flowers that come on trees.
I was confused by that too.
It was a little awkward little exchange. I think it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Cute. To give some reason to explain it, but I don't know a single person who would hear the words apple blossom and think pastry, unless maybe you're a baker and this is the context. But you know, and she kind of laughed about it, like, oh, no, that's a common mistake. Not like that, like think cherry blossoms, but for apples. I don't know.
And then she was like, cherry blossoms get all the attention, which, okay, probably they get more attention than apple blossoms, but people are aware that apple blossoms exist. I thought. I realized that I'm from a small farm town, but
it sounded like she was explaining a really novel concept.
Right.
I did notice that, but no.
Apples grow on trees, Mr. Woodman.
Yes, in case any of Christmasland viewers and listeners out there are confused, we just want you to know this refers not to the pastries that you may or may not call an apple blossom. It refers to the actual flowers that come on trees.
On apple trees. So she gets to, why did I forget the name of the town? Driftless. There we go. I was going to call it Wanderless. All right. Driftless. And she gets to the bookstore and meets Molly, who's this young girl who runs the bookstore.
All by herself. Doing just fine.
Which is interesting because she also talks about she has a super flexible schedule while she's in college, which makes sense while the grandma was alive, but I don't know who's been running it lately. Maybe the neighborhood cat that all the neighbors share.
That is what I told Mark.
And Elise straight up hates the cat. When she finds out that there's a cat who just like wanders all the, the neighborhood and everybody gives it scratches and kibble, she was just like,
it's a user. I'm with Elise. It's a user. That cat's a user.
She was like, the face she made about this cat.
Listen, I want to go back and talk about Molly because this actually disturbed me. I actually had to sit and again do more math in my head and fill in blanks because Elise comes in and she's like, oh, here is this random, basically teenage girl working there and seems to have been holding it down all by herself.
Yeah.
While Elise has been, and seems to be fine with that. Not only that, when Elise says, you're here all by yourself, she says, yeah, I've been working here since I was 15, since I was 14. She makes it sound like that's a long time, but there's no way she's older than 19 years old.
Yeah, I got the impression she was in college. So I think she was, like I was getting like 19 or 20 vibes.
Yeah, 19, 8.
Yeah, my daughter's 8. That age though, working somewhere for 5 or 6 years is a long time.
She made it sound like she was an old hat. She started working at 14. I just was like, listen, my kids have been working since they were that young. I get that, but should she be running a bookstore? Should she be running someone's family business?
I mean, she's been working there for half her life. Think about it that way.
Well, but again, yeah, and I don't know what the duties of the bookstore are. They don't seem that complicated because a teenager is running it.
I think the cat is running it.
Well, where's the money going? Who closes the cash register at night?
I think the cat zeroes out the cash register at the end of the day.
See? That's why I don't like cats. That's why you can't trust them. You don't know what they're up to. That's why I don't have cats.
Well,
we'll see. We'll see what happens with this cat in the bookstore. It better start reading a book or something.
Okay. Speaking of, actually, no, we're not there yet. So never mind. Never mind my awkward segue. Okay. Elise goes back to her Graham's house. So we call her Graham.
Graham. And that's what I used to call my grandma.
Here was her first. We had the awkward exposition from Max and his dad. Now we get to her first awkward exposition. She goes back to her Graham's house, picks up a photograph, and says, "Sorry I never finished my book, Graham. You were always warm and inspiring, but I don't think I'll ever be as good of a storyteller as you."
I just was like, wow. Okay. But there was more. There was more exposition.
Yeah.
Even in that scene.
And so like that one I fully wrote out because I was like, wow, that was a lot. And then I realized that I was not going to be able to keep that up and I immediately gave up.
Yeah, the whole script is basically exposition.
Yeah. So then so she goes into town and runs into Winnie. So Winnie, by the way, is the woman who told Max's dad that the bookstore was on the market earlier. She's this older lady in town who knows all the information, but she's a sweet older lady.
Yeah, who is she?
She was really familiar.
Yeah, that's what Mark said we were watching too. And
But when I looked up the cast on IMDb, it listed like 5 people, and she wasn't one of them. So I'm honestly really confused. I'll have to find her later.
Okay, yeah,
But we know her.
Yeah, we do know her from Christmasland, but maybe
I think from
the soaps.
Oh,
Maybe
could
from the
be.
soaps.
So she tells her that at the Apple Blossom Festival, her gram used to run something called the Book Nook, which I got confused about what the Book Nook was. I thought it was like a booth at the festival. It isn't. It's just like an ongoing event at the bookstore.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was very confusing. Okay, Book Nook, immediately like, oh, that's cute. Love that idea.
Right.
I thought it was like a booth at the festival.
Right, where you could just sit and read and talk about books and put your feet up while your kids are being annoying at the festival.
Yes, and she was like, oh, Graham leaves little notes in there and it's really cute. Like I thought, what a clever, cute little idea. I actually thought, Amelia, that was a good idea. I was like, wow, what a cute little idea. And then they were planning something else throughout the whole movie, and I didn't understand that it was the book.
Right, they're like, it's like book club night at the bookstore. Okay. So she asks Winnie, she says that she wants to get some potted plants for outside the bookstore. She's like, hey, where should I get these? Obviously at Whitman Orchards, the apple orchard, which is not where you go for potted plants, except it is in Driftless. So she goes to Whitman Orchards and runs into Max, literally spills cider on him. It's a little bit of a meet cute, even though she is shocked to see Max Whitman at Whitman Orchards. Like, you could knock her over with an apple blossom.
Can I tell you what I said at this very moment? At this very moment, when she spilled her cider on him, I turned to my husband and I said, somebody left without saying goodbye.
And then he says to her, you can't just run off without saying goodbye and disappear. Expository sentence that he said to her.
Try to get creative with her.
Nope, they didn't try to work that in at all. He just said it to her. They never talked about it again.
It didn't serve any kind of narrative purpose. It didn't drive the plot along. It was almost, Amelia, almost the purest form of a trope.
It was. They were like going through the checklist, like, oh, we left that one out. Just add a line.
Check. So
it's
funny.
Like,
I was like, uh-oh, someone left
told ChatGPT which tropes to add in, and it did it.
If you're new to the podcast, one of the tropes in Christmasland, and it's something that we've been talking about a lot this season, is that high school lovers suddenly part and someone leaves without saying goodbye. I don't know if you've ever left town without saying goodbye to the people you know and care about, but in Christmasland, it happens all the time, and exclusively, mostly to teenagers who are going off to college. But yeah, this was the purest form. I had literally said like, oh, someone left without saying goodbye. And it was...
and then he says it. You left without saying goodbye.
Anyway, it never comes back, so don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it. She gets her plants and leaves, and he gets a call from the cider distributor guy. And they're a little bit worried because there's no story with the cider. The cider's good and all, but there's no story. And he's like, but I'm not a storyteller. So I don't know what he's going to do.
Panic time. Panic time. Yeah. I mean, the cider is great. People will love it. It will fly off the shelves, but not unless there's a story.
Yeah.
Story. That's a tale as old as time. Your drink needs a story.
So he goes to the bookstore and tells Elise that he will help with Books and Blooms if she does his storytelling. So now we've got the Apple Blossom Festival, Books and Blooms, and the Book Nook. And I need things to have one name. What is this event?
Yeah. What is any of it, really?
Stop having names.
This movie felt like there were a lot of tropes, just sort like it was like a checklist, like we made the movie in March Madness or something.
Right.
It really was like all these, and again, even in like a human editor could have maybe pared down some of this. Do we need all of these different challenges here? Can it be one thing?
Driftless, we have a branding problem.
Yes.
You don't need three.
Do we have the festival? Do we have the bookstore we need to save? or do we have the cider that needs to be
Right.
saved?
And then when you talk about the festival, why are there 3 different events? Just have the festival or have Books and Blooms. Like, I don't,
Just have the
or have the
festival.
Book Nook. Yeah, just have the festival.
Just have the festival. It's in
And
town.
she has a
It's
booth
over
at
a
it if
week.
you want, but
We do Christmas festivals in Christmasland all the time.
right.
And you know, it's not complicated. The street gets open. There's booths on the street. You can go there every night for a week.
Yeah,
You could be right in front of the Book Nook.
right. Really, they could have skipped every single bookstore event as we get into this. But okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, Winnie tells her that all of the Books and Blooms events are sold out and they've added more dates. Because I think they originally had 1 and now we've got 3 or something.
Well, there's only like 48 people in town.
Right. But they've all signed up
Yeah, they
multiple
all.
times or something. So at this point, I made a little note because I couldn't write them all down, but she keeps finding these little inspiring notes from her Graham that we mentioned before that she leaves like in books and things. And whenever she finds one, she reads it, but the words also appear on the screen and there is like the most melodramatic music you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And it's like it's Wisdom of Christmasland, which again for people who are new here is like really really deep wisdom, but it's the most cliche thing you've ever heard. So it's, you know, like follow your heart or, you know,
Believe in yourself.
believe in yourself. But she'll be reading it from, you know, on this note, you hear her in a voiceover. The words are on the screen and the music is like really giving.
Some of it I thought was nice. You know what this felt like? Actually, this is a recurring theme throughout the movie. She goes to her Graham's book and reads from it.
Yeah.
It made me think that maybe one of the writers just got her book of poetry out and it was like, here's an opportunity for me to actually insert
Okay.
something of value into this script instead of it being so generic. Not that the script isn't of value, but the
Right.
scripts are supposed to be generic. That's
Yeah,
how they
she
work.
didn't elevate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe she was like, I felt like, oh, here's a little way to sneak in a little bit of extra.
Maybe.
But you're right, Amelia. I was like, how are we going to fit all this wisdom of Christmasland into the show? There's
I know.
so much. It's almost nothing but exposition.
Yeah.
And
And having
wisdom
it
of
show up on
Christmas.
the screen was a lot.
It was a lot.
Like the
I
words on the screen.
felt like from a different movie, actually. It felt like maybe
Yeah.
it belonged in a different movie on a different channel.
Right. It felt like, again, there were a lot of different stories happening here. I feel like there could have been a different movie where
Yes.
a woman was finding these notes from her grandma.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And that was the story.
I feel like we've kind of seen that movie in other places in
Yeah.
different, like recipes or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, you're right. That was a story too, and maybe that was part of the problem. Wasn't just that the constant exposition was annoying, but maybe the constant exposition was necessary because you were always introducing new plots and new elements
Yeah.
that really didn't need to be there. We could avoid all this
Yeah.
exposition by just paring down the challenges and the tropes. You're right. That could have been its own movie.
This could have easily been 4 different movies. We could have had the festival movie, the bookstore movie, the cider movie, and the grandma notes movie.
Yes.
We would have watched them all.
Yeah, totally. I mean, don't get us wrong. We will watch every one of
Yeah.
those movies. Yeah.
Um,
But it's crowded to have it all in one movie.
yeah. So the next morning, Max shows up. He's got some plants for the bookstore. He's still trying to talk her into doing the storytelling. Vanessa, the realtor, comes by to be like, we already have an offer, which I was shocked. Like, there are this many people wanting to buy a small town bookstore? Okay.
Probably some of those, like we don't call them yuppies anymore.
Yeah.
Or dinks or double income, no kids
Yeah.
from the city, from the big city. coming in.
Gentrifiers.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
probably going to adopt a 3-legged dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why. And I also want to say that we know that Vanessa is a real estate agent because of her power suit,
Right.
her Chanel
And
power suit.
At first, I thought she was going to be like the love interest competition for Max,
Yeah,
but no.
no, they didn't even go there.
They didn't
Could
go
have been because they have a moment where he's like, "Hey, Vanessa," she's like, "Hey,
And she
Max,"
gives him a huge hug. I was like,
and
but-
Elise gives awkward in that moment, right?
Yeah,
Like, she's like, "Oh my
right.
gosh, I'm so embarrassed." Like, I think Max is hot, but yeah, obviously he has
and then
other
they
interests
left
in
that there.
stuff. Never, we didn't follow through on it.
No,
Vanessa turns out she just is a real estate agent.
she's a real estate agent. Max and Elise go for coffee. At first, she's still saying no, she's not going to do the storytelling. But then she reads a note from her grandma, and she's like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do the storytelling. Graham says so. Max brings, okay, so then now it's time for the first Books and Blooms event, Book Nook event, Apple Blossom Festival event.
Okay, wait.
And
I'm sorry. Can I interrupt?
yeah.
I want to go back to Max bringing the plants over. I want to go back to her plant boxes because the plant boxes are really literally just some plant boxes in front of her shop. It's not like huge garden beds. And she's struggling over these plant beds like she can't figure out what to put in them. Like you just don't go buy flowers and then put them in and let them grow. And he is acting like he is just the plant box wizard. Like this is the most complicated thing. It's taken them 3 days to do these plant boxes. I'm in my gardening era now that I'm in my 50s, and I can tell you that it's really as easy as going to Home Depot and buying a bunch of marigolds and sticking them in there.
Well, I think that what you really need is a man who knows how to make cider to tell you how to make a garden. Yeah. That's who
Okay.
I would, that's who I would ask.
Is he good at planning festivals too?
Probably.
Okay. We need one of those.
Yeah.
We need that as well.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's going on in my town.
Okay, good.
Anyways, I was really put out by how long they took with those plant boxes. Like that was like they made that the challenge instead of making Vanessa the challenge.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Sorry,
So
go ahead.
tonight is the first Books and Blooms Apple Blossom Festival Book Nook event. and Max brings his dad and Winnie over to help. But Elise is so stressed out. So he's like, listen, I am going to push you in the tire swing to chill you out.
No, that's not what he said. He said, come with me. I have a surprise. So I've been doing these movies long enough to know that surprise. It's either got to be a bakery, like some food in a kitchen somewhere. We like to be fed. The ladies like to be fed. Or it is a beautiful view. Or maybe it's a horse or something, a beautiful animal. He takes her
Like a
to,
dog.
he pulls her away from the very important planning of the Book Nook cider making, the spring festival, whatever they're doing. She's stressing because there's so much planning to do. And he says, I've got a surprise for you. And he drives her away from where her business is. And where does he take her? A freaking tire swing. Like me and my husband were too through. We were too through. We were just like, what? That's where he took her to a tire swing. Anyway.
And then she says she's too short for it. It's for children.
Kids.
And he's like, it's okay, I'm tall.
Okay.
So that's what I did.
He is very tall, by the way, but hey, I was like, okay, what is the point? I would be upset, Amelia. I would be upset. I've got a lot to do at this. You're taking me to a tire swing?
Guess who doesn't understand the mental load of a woman?
Yeah. This is not what anyways, that really, I was put out by that.
Yeah. So she says she's too short. He's like, good thing I'm tall. Neither of those made any sense.
No.
But I immediately paused and found out how tall he is. And he's 6'1", everybody.
That's pretty tall for, Hallmark. That's pretty tall for Christmasland. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these actresses are very tiny. A lot of these actresses don't even break 5 feet. So that means you're hiring shorter actors so that they can stay in the frame together. Yeah. That is tall for.
But I had to know when he was I'm tall. I was like, are you?
I would expect nothing less, Amelia. I would expect nothing.
I had to know.
Okay. Well, we know he's 6'1". Okay.
So then we get our falling and being caught moment, but it was weird. Yeah. So she sort of she dismounts the tire swing and ends up in like a princess hold.
Yeah.
It didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is cute. They're going to do a little falling and
right.
It wasn't.
But it's more like he's helping her get off. Like she's just getting off. I don't feel like she really fell.
I feel, Amelia, like this whole movie is filled with near misses.
Yeah.
Right? I just feel like they have all of these opportunities to hit the tropes, to check the list. And it's like they get close, but they just don't execute it. And just a little bit of a twist or elevating an element, just a little bit could have made all the difference if she had fallen off that tire swing, for instance, and he caught her as she was falling. Right.
Rather than, and then, I don't know, I felt like the princess hold was awkward too. Like,
I did too.
He could have just grabbed, I don't know.
Well, why didn't he just help her down? But instead he grabbed her and held her like he was going to carry her across a threshold. I didn't find it romantic. I found it awkward.
I did too.
Yeah.
So
I would be staring at the guy like,
put me down.
you're gonna put me down, right?
All right, so they go back to the bookstore and the event is going well. He walks her through some box breathing, which he probably could have done instead of the whole tire swing. And then she's like, they're having kind of a moment. And she's like, have you noticed that there's like a little bit of a vibe between your dad and Winnie?
Oh.
And he thinks that she's gonna like acknowledge that they have a vibe. She doesn't actually say vibe, but you know. So he's a little disappointed because he thought that they were going to acknowledge that they have a little something going on. But he does acknowledge that Dad and Winnie have a little something going on.
They seem to have, okay, so again, I don't understand how they expected us, the viewer, to view this relationship. Because when they come in, what I say, oh, somebody left without saying goodbye. But there is no, they say that, but it doesn't work and it doesn't land. It just all feels really weird. I don't think the script has properly filled in their relationship. Is there a vibe between them? But what's the vibe? They like each other, but they're too scared to tell each other? Or the vibe is that one left without saying goodbye, the other one is still in love. There's too much in this love equation going on. There are too many, quote, challenges that aren't even really challenges piled on top of this couple. And that was another weird moment where it's like they're talking about a vibe that they may or may not have. I don't really know as the viewer what it is.
Okay, so now we're on the next day. She names the cat Clover. So I guess the cat's hers now, which honestly, why is the cat in this movie? Now that we think about it, what does the cat add ever?
I really thought that cat was going to have some unifying thing, like it was going to save the festival somehow.
Right.
Or it was going to teach Elise about love and stability. By the way, every other minute, someone in this movie is reminding us that Elise has trouble staying in one place for too long.
Yes. She's a drifter, and this is Driftless, everybody.
And literally, literally every time somebody says like, oh, so Elise, will we see you at the whatever thing next month?
No. I
don't know.
I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
I've told you this, but I don't stay in one place for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
not even at a festival.
Every other thing, like, oh, are you gonna? Do you want to go to lunch later? Well, you know, I actually have trouble committing things.
I can only stay for one bite.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, all right. So she goes out to Max's farm to work on the storytelling. And she starts naming his ciders the most insane things. She's like, okay, this cider tastes like a missed moment where you're like about to kiss, but then you don't kiss. So we're going to name it Missed Kiss. I don't know if I made that one up, but they're all, I'm like,
she named them.
What are you doing? I'm like, what?
And everyone, like he was like, wow.
These are like the most bougie, like you go to some tap room and they've got like 15 IPAs and these weird ciders and they've all got stupid names and they're $15 for a pint. I mean, I guess maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know.
Well, probably that's where you're going to sell the cider, but also that's probably who wrote the movie.
True.
Who goes to those places in LA.
Yeah. So he asks her, he says that he noticed earlier at the bookstore when she was opening inventory that they got that Tessa Marks book in and she kind of made the same like face. And he's like, why are you weird about that book? What's going on? So she finally tells him that they used to be writing buddies. They would work together, they would read each other's work, give feedback, and then Tessa's career took off as hers kind of started to stall and she started doing like the temp work and that kind of thing. So she just like ghosted Tessa. Tessa seems like a pretty decent person. She didn't do anything wrong. Nothing actually happened. She just stopped talking to her.
Okay. Again, another like I don't understand the stakes in this movie. I don't understand why they have it almost had a Great American feel to this, although this was a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
It was on Hallmark, right? It had because a Great American will really go to great lengths to avoid negativity in any way. But this felt like egregious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand why you would. It just seems like they rejected every opportunity for actual real conflict.
Any conflict, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have even been, your Tessa didn't have to even be a bad guy. It could have been like, as her writing career took off, she got really busy and I started feeling bad, like I was imposing, and she really never made me feel that way, but it just got awkward, something. But it was just
But
like,
why? I thought it would even be maybe like Tessa stole my idea, or she stole
right.
the title, or
But if they didn't want to make her mean, there are still ways around it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, yeah. It just seemed a lame reason to go for that to be so heavy on her. Like even the way she would look at that book every time it came up.
right. So that evening, they go to the bar and they're with so it's Max and Elise, and then the dad and Winnie, they're all hanging out at the bar and they dance. And we get a little bit of background about their relationship, which actually confused me even more. So they were always just friends. And she talks about how she had like this little daydream in her head that maybe he liked her as more. And he's like, what? I had no idea that you ever had a crush on me. And she's like, well, every girl in town had a crush on you. Okay, so they were just friends. I get that if you're really close friends, obviously it's still hurtful if she left without saying goodbye. That's a weird thing to do. But I had been under the impression this whole movie that they had been dating.
Yes, that's how they made it seem. And by the way, did you think that Max was really mean to her when they first met? Like it seemed like he was being really mean.
Well, I think he was acting hurt. I mean, so maybe, I guess mean, but like,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
But then he wasn't hurt. And then he didn't care about
everybody's actions in this movie were confusing. He was like shocked that she had a crush on him, but I thought they had been dating because they were acting like there was a breakup. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That was a bizarre part to me when they were having that. And then I felt like they were also struggling with moving and talking, like they were struggling with dancing and talking, I think.
The next day, we do have an offer on the bookstore, but everyone in this town and probably nobody in real life is shocked to discover that the buyers want to turn the space into condos. Turns out independent bookstores are not it.
Yeah.
Which
Turns out
I
there's not a
don't,
big market.
I'm sad too. I would love for it to be an independent bookstore, but guess what? People are doing condos.
Right. And bookstores aren't going to it's probably not going to make back the money you invested to buy it.
Right.
You're not buying the bookstore for its revenue.
Right. They want the space.
But anyways, everyone was shocked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, only Elise and Molly know right now, and the cat, but
the cat's probably the buyer.
The cat is working with Vanessa directly. So,
yep.
Okay, and the night before at the bar, they're all talking about how the next night or the next Books and Cherry Apple Blossom Bloom Book Nook Festival event is poetry. And Winnie says that no one's ever written her a love poem. So, what's her name? Elise offers to help the dad write a love poem for her. I would like to pause. Everyone out there who is in love with me, do not write me a love poem.
No?
No, don't do that.
No? Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to say that real quick.
I would like to encourage any man who is out there who is in love with Amelia. First of all, show yourself. Identify yourself so that we can take next steps in our own Hallmark journey. But second of all, I want to encourage you to write the love note to Amelia anyway, because she doesn't.
No, a love note is fine. I do not want a poem.
A poem's fine too, guys. Just ignore her.
I don't want a poem.
Keep going.
Do not sing a song. I cannot tell you how much I don't want any of that.
Okay, anyway.
I was so...
officially, of course, no, we will make sure no man ever writes Amelia a love poem. However, in Christmasland, I do feel that it's appropriate. I do.
I don't even want to be read a poem that someone else wrote. I don't want a song.
You don't even want to be read someone else's.
No, the thought of like somebody singing a song, like, no. Oh my God.
I don't know. I guess maybe just being a lifelong writer, maybe.
No.
Yeah, that's how you tell people you love them. You write it, or you don't say it with your mouth. I can't say it with my mouth. I have to write it. Saying it with my mouth is embarrassing.
But even if they sent the poem, no. Like, I cannot, like,
Did I tell you? Have I told this?
Embarrassment that I'm feeling, like, I can't.
Is it the secondhand embarrassment? Is that so? Not in public, but if
in private, even. I can't.
How are you embarrassed in private? Women complain when men take the initiative and they say, "Oh, it made me feel awkward. I didn't like that." But then women complain when they don't take the initiative.
Initiative is great.
That's initiative.
But
A
okay,
bonus
so
initiative.
here's what I think it is. The like poetry or a song or whatever is like more about look what I made more than look
Mm.
how I feel about you.
See, I think that's a you thing because that's your filter, right? If you're already approaching it by I don't trust
I
you,
also
if
hate poetry in general.
that is
Just I hate poetry in general too, though.
well, folks, you know what to do. Drop it in the comments. Leave it to who's crazy
Uh,
here. Who's the crazy one? I think Amelia's the crazy one. I think that's
poetry is
effort,
so
and women should
generally
honor effort.
poetry is
Women
so
should honor
generally
effort.
self-serving. Like poetry is so gross.
Okay, you guys, write in the comments. Tell us.
Poetry is gross. Everybody.
Okay. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. So the old guy is working on his poetry.
Okay, so she is. So she had written like a little. She has her poetry book, and she had written notes in it, and she can't
Oh,
find
yeah.
it. So she's like, "I have to improvise now. What am I gonna do?" She's panicking, but you know, she can.
Again, like, is this conflict? This
I
their
guess.
version. They're even me and you just had 5-minute conflict over the poetry, right? That was more interesting than this conflict, which is I wrote notes in this book for this Book Nook festival, whatever, that's only going to have 30 people in the audience. Like, she was acting like she was going to be up in front of Carnegie Hall and she had to give a speech. All she was going to do was talk about a book.
Right, and then like open the floor. It was basically an open mic night.
And then it was an open mic
Right.
night.
And I hate public speaking, but like I could do that. And it's in front of a bunch of people that are friends, you know?
Right.
Okay, so one time I had to moderate a panel. Like I've done this once. I know you do it probably all the time. I had to do it once. And you and our friend John started booing me immediately. And I was like, honestly, I feel so comfortable right now.
It's been about like 15 years ago.
But I was like, I'm Amelia, and they're like, boo. And I was like, that's actually the best thing anyone could have done, because if they had been supportive right now, I probably would have flipped out.
Right?
I would
You
have
guys
felt
are being
so
too nice.
uncomfortable. If they had started reading me poetry, I would have been like, I'm out. But a boo,
Like, you guys are being too nice to me.
right, exactly. A boo I can handle.
Yeah, we knew you needed to be taken down a peg, and then they'll put you right in your comfort zone. I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh, blast from the past.
So Max's dad gets up and reads a poem that he wrote for Winnie. He was uncomfortable.
She loved it. Winnie loved it.
All right, Max now is encouraging Elise to get back in touch with Tessa. Give her another chance. Give your friendship another chance. Go for it. They are now like hanging out by the fire. I don't know, living their
Drinking more
lives.
cider.
Drinking some cider.
this
Oh
is
yeah,
a-
and they're drinking it like out of wine glasses. I was like, are they drinking wine? But no, it's cider.
No, it's cider. It was at this point that my husband said, my stomach is hurting. I don't think I can watch people drink any more cider. Like, cider is good, but you don't drink cider like water. It's citrusy. It's acidic. It's like, I felt like when we were watching the Gouda movie by the end of the
Oh,
movie.
the cheese.
So much cheese in this movie.
And she lets Max know that she actually did call Tessa today. So we're just going to wait and see how that all works out.
All right. Well, and again, there was no conflict at all. See, Mac, there could have been a little conflict there where Max says, I think you should call Tessa. And she says, get out of my business. You don't know it. And then maybe she goes and has a little think about it. But instead, they removed all of the conflict there and just fixed it with post exposition. Even the problem was solved before it even began.
Right. And now they make a Bloom bet, which also could have been the plot of the entire movie.
This is exactly what I thought.
If he wins, she will write 5 pages of her book, because which I also didn't realize when the little deadline popped up, saying finish the book today, she set that like 5 years ago or something. So anyway, if he wins, I think what is the bet about? What happens with Tessa? I don't even remember. If he
He'll
wins,
help her with the Bloom and book.
So if he wins, she'll write 5 pages of her book, just 5 pages to get her going. And she's like, fine. But if I win, then you have to name a cider after me. And so he starts telling her about the cider, and she's like, oh, I just had a major breakthrough. Every cider needs to have like a story behind it. What? Wasn't this literally the point the entire time?
Yes, right? Isn't that
I'm
what he...
so confused.
I wonder, Amelia, if they went back into reshoots or something, and or if this is an editing problem. Maybe like the editor didn't like have the timeline
This
right.
was like a breakthrough moment for her.
Yeah.
That they were gonna add a memory and a story behind every cider.
Yeah.
That I
Was this
thought that's
not
what
what
you
he asked
did
you to
for
do?
the last hour.
Yeah. You are so right that there was so like this movie was 5 thoughts in one. This movie was 5 movies in one. We could have peeled off anything and made an entire 90 minutes.
Yeah.
On any of these things.
Right. But
yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, what?
That's what you've been doing this whole movie, is working on the storytelling.
I thought. Okay, anyways, but she has this another revelation.
Yeah. So it's the end of the night. They've been hanging out by the fire and bonding. So he goes to leave and they have like this little kissing moment, they're connecting and she leans in and he goes for the hug.
I laughed out loud.
He goes for the hug.
I was like, oh my, but it was really like pointed and awkward. He was like, hey, buddy.
So next day, they're back on the farm and he is like teaching her how to work the cider press, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I can't believe the trees are going to blossom. And then I'll just leave.
Because she doesn't stay in one place for too long.
No, she doesn't.
I don't know if you heard this, but she really is a drifter and she doesn't like to stay put for too long.
Yeah. And that's what the bet was about, when the trees would bloom. That's right. Okay. And so then, and he's like, oh, well, I thought maybe you'd stay. Okay. Well, why? Because like Kira said, she's made it very clear in every single conversation that she is out of here. Yes. And also he heard from Molly and probably the cat that they're thinking about putting in condos. The new buyer wants to put in condos. And she is shocked that he heard, which I don't know why, because in small towns,
right,
there are no
There's 30 people in the small town, and you know she's there to sell the bookstore. You know she's there to sell it.
Right.
Again,
there was an offer. Right. Unless there were like NDAs involved, and even then, he's probably going to do it. Right. So Vanessa, the realtor, is pressuring her. You got to sign this. You got an offer on the table. She's like, can we put it off and see if we get an offer from somebody who wants to keep it as a bookstore? Vanessa's like, not really.
Who's going to want to buy it to keep it as a bookstore?
Right. And that's just not really how like real estate works.
Yeah.
So Elise tells Winnie that she doesn't really know if she ever meant anything to Max. I don't know what that's based on, but okay. And so Winnie's like,
ho, 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 ho.
It's apple blossom season. Anything is possible.
More incredible wisdom.
So at that moment, I almost wondered if this was originally a Christmas movie and they were like, we have enough Christmas movies. We're going to rewrite it for spring.
You know what? That's actually not a bad theory, because there are a number of tropes in this movie, and I felt like this feels almost like a Christmas movie that just was like plucked out of winter. Yeah. I thought I had that thought myself at one point, so maybe you are absolutely right. There's definitely a lot of wisdom, of like Christmassy wisdom in this movie.
Yeah. So back at the farm, there is a major storm coming in, and Dad needs help to protect the trees. They need to stake the saplings. They need to work for the flood. But there is a valve that's also out on the cider vats. And Max is like, I need to run into town and get a new valve. Dad is losing his mind because they need to protect the trees. That is their first concern. So
they don't want the blossoms. I guess this is the other thing. They don't want the blossoms to blow off of the trees before the Apple Blossom Festival or the Book Nook or whatever is happening.
Right.
And the younger trees could be sensitive to that. So I guess that's the big deal.
Right. So Max is going to go into town and get the valve and then go back to the farm and help with the trees. But he decides to stop at the bookstore because why not? And he tells her that he's sad that she's leaving, but he supports whatever decision she makes.
This whole sequence of events was performed as though it was very intense, but there really was no intent. Like, he runs into the bookstore like, I'm telling you this on my way out because I've got to go get this valve. And then they make it seem like, oh, he's driving through all this rain. And then there's this part where it just was like they were trying to add conflict again here, but There was none. I didn't understand who I was supposed to be rooting for. I didn't understand.
Yeah. And then also, again, there was this moment where like the cat runs out. And I thought that was going to be like, okay, now I know why we have the cat. There's going to be something where they have to like all run out after him and some.
Yeah.
Like comes back in and snuggles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did too. Yeah. Again, another missed opportunity, Amelia, for conflict.
Yeah.
For real conflict.
Yeah. The book club is canceled tonight due to weather. His car is broken down and he's fixing it. She's putting candles everywhere. I thought we were going to have a fire, but we didn't. Elise doesn't want him driving in this, but his dad is handling the orchard alone. Again, his car, though, starts up again and he doesn't get in an accident. Okay.
He's worried about the car not starting up, and then it starts up.
And then it starts up. And then I was like, okay, well, he's going to run off the road. No, he's going to get trapped and at the bookstore with her. No. Yeah. So cut to next morning, storm has passed, but the orchard is a mess. So he feels terrible because
he was going and tending to his dreams by preserving the cider when he feels like he should have been out with his dad, battening down the saplings. My husband at that moment said, isn't there anyone else in town who appreciates the orchard and loves the orchard and will come over and help? Yeah.
Well, but they would have had to get there in a storm, like way out of town.
Right.
But here's the real problem. We don't really know yet if the trees and especially the saplings made it through the storm. We're not going to know yet for a little while. But the actual blossoms have mostly been destroyed. So we have to cancel the entire festival because every bloom for the festival comes from one farm.
Yeah. Now the whole festival's like, yeah, I was like, is the Apple Blossom Festival, it's dependent on the bloom. It's dependent on the flowers. Like I get that it's disappointing.
That you can't have the decor that you want.
Right.
And the decor comes from one farm.
Right.
It's weird that you have a festival. Like you'd think that the whole area would have been known for apple blossoms.
Yes. Right? Don't people have apple like trees in front of their businesses, or isn't there apple blossoms along the main street in town?
No. There's one farm and the whole town celebrates it.
Yeah, this guy's only job on the Apple Blossom Committee has been to give the report on what the apple blossoms are looking like at any given moment. Right. So yeah, now they have canceled the whole, because the Apple Blossom Festival isn't about the festival or the people or the fun. Apparently it's just about these flowers.
Right, because usually stuff like that is to support the local farming industry because there are a lot of farms, not one.
Right, and eventually they're going to harvest something.
Right. So things are not going well at the bookstore either because there are no other offers. And then Elise opens a drawer and there's a letter from her Graham just sitting there where she's missed it the whole time. And of course,
I feel like this happened. Oh, the shoe.
Right, exactly. The shoe in a criminal way. And it's just, more generic wisdom.
It's just more generic wisdom. Again, why? Why did she have to find a letter? I have this long lost letter. Just open the darn diary again and read whatever is on the next page. I don't understand the script. They did entirely too much work where they didn't need to do any, and then they didn't do any work when they needed to do more work.
So she has an idea though for the cider. They can boil the blooms that they have, which I guess are on the ground, and make an apple blossom syrup, which they can use to infuse cider and make some good cider. But to make the cider, they're going to need to use the frozen apples that they have in storage. The dad is like, absolutely not, because we have orders and we need to fulfill the promises that we've made, for the orders that we've promised.
Yeah.
And the Max is like, how dare you? You're so close-minded. We need to expand our business to cider. Okay, I'm on Team Dad here. He's like, we're in a Robert Barron situation right now.
Yes. We have it's not like they're just extra apples. We've sold these.
Right, we've sold these. Like, the reason that they're in the frozen storage is if there's an emergency, and there was an emergency. These aren't extra apples.
Right, with you.
Like, if we'd had a normal harvest, then you can use the frozen apples and then freeze a new batch of apples to be the next emergency store. That's how it works.
Yes.
But
You know,
this is the emergency store because this harvest got destroyed. Like, what is so difficult? You grew up on a farm. You know how this works.
I know, but it's all about its cider.
It's all about his cider.
I agree
What
with
in the
you.
robber baron? So, but then the dad is just like, "Oh, yeah, okay, you can make the cider."
Again, all right, no real conflict and easily resolved. Okay.
Yeah. And again, that nobody who writes these movies understands how like farming works.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now we have a montage of making the cider and trying the baked goods because we have a little like our 18th storyline of this movie is that what's her name, Kelly or
Molly.
Molly or something, who works at the bookstore, wants to be a baker. So we're
Right.
trying.
Another like side plot that was
And
like
it goes nowhere.
it goes nowhere. And then I didn't even understand that I was supposed to be impressed. Like at first, because she brings out these scones and all this stuff, and Elise is like,
Yeah.
"Wow, I didn't even know you were a baker." And Molly goes, "What? Baking is punk." And that was the first time I realized we were supposed to look at Molly like she's punk or something. I think we were supposed to see her as like kind of wacky and out there and kind of like dark or something. She was wearing leopard print jeans when we were first introduced to her, and I thought in Christmasland maybe this means rebellious. I don't know. I was shocked to discover we were supposed to think that Molly was punk rock. Well, apparently we are.
Baking is punk.
The baking is punk. Yeah. Again, 18th subplot.
Yeah. So now we get to kind of the wrap up of the movie. The buyers love this apple infused or this apple blossom infused cider. She's decided to stay. We're having an event at the bookstore, and her dress barely covers her booty. I was scandalized by the length of this dress. We know we're at the end of the movie because Elise is talking to Max and she grabs him by the lapels and just lays one on him. It was aggressive.
It was aggressive, especially after his like aggressive hug
Right.
from earlier.
She is like, you are not getting to hug zone this time.
So he's so much taller than she is. So she's got to like guide that in.
That's true. That's true.
Fair enough.
Okay, we get a little denouement in this one. 1 year later, her book is out. Everything is going well. And they kiss again, this time in the orchard. The end.
The end. Okay, well, I don't know how many tropes there are in this movie, but there were a few. Let's just run down a few. Do we have an awkward falling and being caught?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a situation that could be solved easily with one single conversation?
Like,
maybe the breakup?
Yeah, I guess maybe her leaving or like
leaving without saying goodbye.
I guess. Like, I feel like all of them. This whole thing was confusing.
Yeah, anything could have been clarified with like a decent conversation. All right, what about a precocious child? Not a single child in this movie. Molly? Maybe Molly. I was gonna say the cat. Maybe cat counts as a precocious child. Snowball. No kind of snowball fight. No baking. People bake, but we don't get to see baking. We don't really get to see any making.
Cider making was maybe baking. I mean, it's not
cider making, but he was barely doing any cider making. And I did feel that the entire set was one warehouse, and so that they just split. Like that bookstore was clearly the end of a warehouse, which, you know, good job set dressers, by the way. I think you did a good job with a very boring square space that you have to fill. But I felt it was clear that at least the other side of that warehouse was the cider warehouse, and so there wasn't much he could do in the way of making. I don't know. We didn't have that. Yeah, we didn't have much. We didn't have much here by way of tropes. Decorating something, like it was for the festival, but they didn't even go and like, oh, we're going to decorate the book.
Although apparently they were going to over decorate because they had to cancel the whole thing.
I guess so. Again, even that Book Nook tree, what a missed opportunity. I thought that was a cool idea. And then you pull notes off the tree. Maybe they leave notes for each other. Maybe the notes give clues as to, you know, I don't know. I just miss opportunities everywhere. Yeah. That's how I assess this movie. It's not one of my favorites. Of course, there are no bad movies in Christmasland, but this isn't one of my favorites. I just thought it missed the mark. Everything was there for me. Everything was there. Everybody looked good. Everybody sounded good. The elements were there, but it's just like they never quite made it. And so they never quite made it, so they kept adding things on top of it. I don't know. How did you feel?
Yeah, same. I feel like like I said, there were like 5 movies here, and I would have liked any of them, but I didn't need to watch them all at once.
Yeah. I almost felt exhausted watching it. Like
Yeah.
there was so much to keep up with. All right. Well, let's go down. Go ahead.
Quickly, I
Yeah.
did Google Winnie.
Yeah.
Here's why we know her. She is from Five Star Christmas. She's the guest that they think is B. Turner.
Of
Exactly.
course. Of course. Of course. And I knew she was someone I loved. I knew it. Oh gosh, thank you so much for solving that mystery.
I know it was
That
bugging
was
me.
Yeah, I thought maybe she's like a soap opera actress that I remember from the day, or because
Mhm.
a lot of the older actors in Christmasland are
Yeah.
often, from that's at least
Yeah.
people,
Well, and maybe she is. I mean, she's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like she probably does have a deep soap
Yeah.
history, but that's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm
But I
thinking.
scrolled back a little bit on her bio or on her IMDb, history, and was like, there it is.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you for solving that mystery, Amelia. Wonderful. Okay. Well, in that vein, then let's get into some awards.
And the Oscar goes to...
Where we hand out the awards for this movie. We have 3 awards. Our first award is a Robert A. Barron Award for Best Villain. This is who is the best villain in our movie, who was the most dastardly or the darkest. Sometimes it's hard to pick because this is Christmasland. So I'm curious who you picked, Amelia. Who's the villain here?
I think we had a true Robert Barron.
The dad? Okay, true Robert Barron, the dad. I said the villain is the cat.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, the villain is the cat. I think he was a freeloader. He had no good reason to be anywhere. He just went he wasn't even loyal. He went place to place getting food. And I guess that was part of it at the end. Like, she's a drifter. The cat's a drifter. She never stays in one place for long. I don't know if you heard that, Amelia, but she doesn't stay in one place for
Doesn't ring a
long.
bell.
No, and the cat also doesn't stay in one place for long. And also another subplot, Amelia, that you didn't mention, and I'm really disappointed that you didn't mention, is that the Graham, I can't believe you missed this, but the Graham was also a cat hater. The Graham didn't like cats. That's what she had told everybody. And then Elise found out that, oh no, Graham actually had come to love this cat. You missed that subplot. I can't believe it. What a
There were
rookie
too
move.
many subplots.
I can't believe that you did not get number 19 on the subplot
It was
list.
so much.
That was one. So yeah, mine was the cat. Yours was the true Robert A. Barron, the dad. Look, we have responsibilities. We are accountable. We have a ledger to balance. We have employees to pay.
Yeah, we have orders that, like, we've sold these apples. We are actually an orchard.
Right. I'm not the bad guy because I want our business to continue to be businessing. Yes. Okay. Well, let's move on to our second award. This is the Christmas Ham Award, Amelia. As you know, this is an award that goes to the most, who we thought gave the over-the-top performance, someone who just sort of got the very most out of every line, whether or not they had a lot or a little. Amelia, who did you pick for Christmas Ham?
I picked Winnie.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
thought she
cute.
did a nice job.
Okay. I picked Molly.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't really blown away by anybody in this movie, but so I picked Molly, but I was going to pick the grandma. I was going to pick Graham, right? Because like all her lines were like over the top.
Yeah.
But I want to give it to
she did a lot.
She did a lot, but I'm going to pick Molly because let's give it to the actors. Let's give it to, somebody who
You
showed
just
up.
gave an award to a cat.
Cats are actors too, Amelia. You know what? I hope we don't get any letters from PETA. I hope we don't get any letters from PETA. I cannot believe that you dehumanized a cat like that. Cats are people too.
Are they? I'm telling Myrtle.
Wow. I just want PETA to know that this over here, that's not me. I don't approve of this. I gave the cat an award. But yeah, I just wanted to give the girl, I thought, for what she had to work with, I guess she was Molly in itself, I think, was the character that I'm rewarding. It's supposed to be an over-the-top character. She's a little bit punk. She's pretty independent, which we don't see a lot in Christmasland.
So punk.
Yeah, so punk. She had pigtails. She had pigtails. She wore pigtails a lot, and I think that was punk. Okay, well, let's give out our last award. This is the Tree Topper Award. It is our Oscars, our Academy Awards. Amelia, who did you give it to?
Max. I thought he did a really nice job. Like, I think he's a good actor.
Oh, okay.
Simple as that.
Great. I gave my award to Winnie.
Oh, nice.
I loved her. I thought she was a great actress. I kept thinking, and now I even love her more now that I know that she
Right.
was on Five Star Christmas. And I remember her in that movie having a really sweet presence, you know, and there was
Yeah.
a B plot with the dad in that movie. And I thought she has a really sweet Christmaslandy
She does.
presence.
She's like
Yeah.
a really like gentle, like that movie was kind of
Yeah.
chaotic and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You're never gonna get rejected by her. She's not gonna say anything weird. She's gonna be there to help. She's not gonna leave without saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
She's not that person.
Yeah. And we should maybe say just quickly, I liked that there was no, I know we talked a little bit about how irritating the lack of conflict was at some points, but I thought it was sweet that Max really wanted his dad to find love.
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
did too. Yeah, because she did ask him, right? Like, does this feel weird? And he was like, no, you know, my mom's been gone a long time and I just want my dad to have, honestly, Amelia though, but in the beginning of this movie, because I didn't know this actor, I don't know his other work.
Yeah.
And he was with his dad in the bar and I thought they were brothers or something, the same age. And I wonder
I
if
should
they're
look at that.
that far apart. I was like, oh, that's his dad. I thought maybe that was like his older brother or something. Because the son seems almost as mature as the dad. And then I think with his beard, too, it just aged him a little. And then the dad looks pretty young, I think, for his age. We'll see. Okay, well, that wraps up a season in bloom. Was that what? A season of bloom?
Season to Blossom?
A season to bloom. I didn't even remember.
I don't
I
know.
didn't remember the name. A Season to Blossom. But as always, Amelia has said this before. Christmasland is the region. That's the region we're in. But it's not always winter in Christmasland. This movie took place in Christmasland, just in a different season. Everything's the same. It's the same people, the same towns. This town, we didn't get to see the mayor, but the mayor was probably black, pretty sure. But same towns, same mayors, everything's. It's always nice to be in Christmasland, and we do want to say congratulations to all of the people who worked hard on this movie and made this movie and got it published. Thank you for giving that to us. Anything else you want to add before we leave?
No. I have not picked out a movie yet for next week because we had a similar issue for the movie that we were going to have next week. So I don't know. Keep an eye on our Instagram and Twitter and stuff. It'll be on.
Yeah. Well, why don't you run down that real quick before we go?
Okay, so again, that is Facebook is Journey to Christmasland, Instagram and X are JT Christmasland.
Okay, well, thank you, Amelia. And until we meet again, I wish you days filled with cleverly named ciders.
I wish you relaxing tire swing sessions.
Thanks, Amelia. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.